What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Litecoin and LTCN on the Grayscale Trust. So Litecoin and Litecoin Grayscale Trust. For Martin today, we're going to do a little quick comparison. I think they're both going down. Litecoin not as much as LTCN is, but I do think Litecoin's going to go down a little bit more. I think a lot of altcoins are going to go down. What you're doing right now, it's not really too encouraging in my opinion. Your previous area of support here where you consolidated, broke down, you're finding resistance on it. You've tried to find a place to break above it, but you just can't. Yes, last week closed with 2.7% in the green, but your RSI just looks sad, man. It looks very sad. I'd very much think that you're going to go lower, if not this week, sometime soon. Daily RSI, lower highs. You're in this nice range down, man. You're at the top of this range. It's coming. It's like genuinely coming. You're about to see your next leg down. So probably below this low, probably below these lows. I think that you will see Litecoin below $60 here soon. I don't know about next week, but the move down will start next week. I do think it's going to move down over the month to months to come. It could be sometime in March or April that this thing finds its low. Maybe it's in February, but I don't think it's going to move down that whole time. I don't think it's going to be a straight line down like this was over here, right? Like the ending of the bear market. I just think that it's going to take its time. It's going to meander. You probably come down and find support around $50. You might even find support around $55, but I do think you'll go below 60 with Litecoin. And then comparing that to LTCN, LTCN USD. We had a bullish finish to last week. We did. And here it is at 1068 right now. You actually bounced like right off of what was that? What price is that there? $8.20. Previous area of resistance. You tipped it and had a positive reaction. That's nice to see. But I really don't think that this is over. I don't think with a candle like this right here, this bearish engulfing candle that engulfed literally like 1, 2. I guess it didn't engulf 2 days, but 2 weeks. But it is the biggest candle you've seen. Like, really, it's the biggest candle you've seen since this candle, like back here, this huge candle. And what'd you do with this candle when you had this really big candle? You consolidated. You went up a little bit. You had 1 week that was up 48%. You had another week over here that was up 40%, and you continue to build after that. You saw multiple weeks where it went up a lot, but inevitably you went lower after consolidating for a little while. So kind of the same thing with LTC, except LTCN I do think will go down harder, but LTCN probably also moves a little bit sideways. It's probably boring. It's not going to be a necessary straight line down there. You could consolidate here for another month or so. You might even move all the way back up to $13, maybe even all the way back up to $15. Maybe not, but I think previous areas of support here could become resistance right there at about $13. That makes sense to me. And then up here on a closing basis on a lot of these, you've got 1550. You could go all the way up there, but don't get excited. Don't feel the FOMO in this area because what's that going to be? It's a lower high. It's a lower high. And maybe you are consolidating. Maybe you do see a move that from low to high is 90% in growth. Still not impressed. Not until you get above that high, and I just really don't think that that's going to happen anytime soon. I do think you have lower to go still. If we take this bottom here, nope, that's where the bottom is. Yes, that's what that line's showing. Bottom to top, bounce off your 236, and you're finding resistance at your bounce off your 382, finding resistance at your 236 right now. This is a common maneuver. It's like, I don't know if there's a term for it. Stair stepping. That's what I've called it. That's what I've heard it been called. Stair stepping. Down, right? Stair stepping. You're doing that right now. And maybe you get above the 236 at some point in the next week, but maybe you come back below it. So I'm not really too excited for it. Yes, you could come back up a little bit. If you do get back up here, for anybody that's looking to have a second chance at selling, that might be a good area. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not me telling you what to do with your money. I'm just saying if you were down here and you're like, man, I should have sold up here, you might have that opportunity present itself. You might not. Just because I'm saying that does not mean that that's going to happen. You absolutely could continue to go down from here, right? That's a lower high in itself. But guess what? Even if you go above this relative high, it's still an overall lower high. So where are you going to go? Litecoin, LTCN, where are you going to go? Low to high here. I would expect that you see at least your 0.5 and maybe even your 618, 69 area. I wouldn't be too surprised if you saw your 618, 69. That would be below $5, but I would very much expect you to at least go below this green line here, which is at about $6.20. And as the weeks go on, it actually looks like it's going to continue to build to the downside. I want to see real quick 382 support there. Nice. 382. 0.5 support right there, and then moved up, kind of giving a little bit of validity to the idea you might find support right there, because not only is that the 0.5, that is your 123 weekly moving average area, and it's a previous area of resistance right here on a closing basis, right? So kind of smack dab in the middle of this consolidation range as well. That could provide significant support right there. So maybe you do find support around $6. But I would think you're going below 620, at least below 620. You might go like just below it, and that might be the bottom, but that could be it. If you want to hold out for prices that are down here, absolutely that could happen. You're still forming higher lows at that point, but you know, maybe you don't bottom out here, maybe you don't bottom out here, but somewhere in between, you know. So just be prepared for that. I know I had somebody who I forget what your name was, but she was asking if she should just go all in, lump sum it, and just go all in to get the long-term capital gains, or she should DCA. And I was saying, you know, being that we're in this time of the market, I didn't say it exactly like this, but for not verbatim, but just what's the word? Just something like that. I'm trying to think of what the word is. I think it starts with a P. I don't remember. I would layer it. It's like DCAing. DCAing is like you buy on every Friday. No matter what the price is doing, going up, going down, you buy every Friday, or you buy every other day, or you know, something like that. That's DCAing. But layering is like DCAing, but more or less you just layer your prices. It's like a cross between lump summing it and DCAing, where you set some buy orders here, you set some buy orders here, you set some buy orders here, here, and then you have like the biggest buy order down here. You could do reverse layer, or like the reverse of that. It wouldn't necessarily be reverse layering, but where you have your biggest buy order up here, maybe you have 50% there, and then you have 20%, and then you have another 20%, and then you have 15%, and you have 5% at the lowest, or something like that. However you want to do it, whatever makes sense. I wouldn't put 50% in on a single buy unless it was like at the absolute low, but I like to do like 20%, 15% at a time. And just layer it down. That's what I like to do. I like DCAing too. It depends on the project. It depends on the circumstances. Right now, because we are in that time frame where that long-term capital gains is getting close for a lot of people, right? We're in the beginning of January now, or the middle and end of January right now. We're in the beginning of 2024. I do expect that the bull run will continue well past the beginning of 2025, but from like now through June, we're basically in crunch time for those long-term capital gains to get locked in there, and you want to do those at lower prices, of course, too. So on anything, right, you want to try and catch the lows. So it might take a month or two to get there. We're really at crunch time right now for those long-term capital gains. So I wouldn't like, personally, not financial advice again, I wouldn't DCA over this year. I would just wait for this next low to come in, and I would probably get all my funds in there at that point in time. I'm saying probably, I am. That's exactly what I'm doing. But I'm not going to buy all at one price. I never do that. I did that in my early days. I don't do that anymore, because most of the time, in fact, probably like 95% of the time or more, it will go lower than where you first buy it at. And sometimes you'll catch that exact low, and you're like, damn, I should have put everything in there. But that's okay. It happens. It's better to be smart and safe. In the long term, that'll help a lot more than that one time you're wrong where, damn it, I should have just put everything in there. Oh well, let it go without you. Find something else that hasn't taken off yet. You know, you play it safe, you're going to conserve your money. You play it risky, you might win it that one time, but that doesn't happen often, man. It really doesn't happen often. Oftentimes you don't catch the absolute low. But what I'm trying to say is I would layer. That's my genuine opinion. I would set, probably, if I was buying LTCN, which I'm not, but if I was, I would say between 472 to 620. I'd probably have my first buy order actually at like 630, a little bit above that green line there. Around 630, I would go again at like 615, 620. Another one at $6. One at like 550, sizably below there. something like that. Another one at like 520, another one at 510, like trying to get all those lows to DCA through layering, something like that. And then maybe if I had like 30% or 20% left over, I'd do a fat buy order at like 472 right on that 618. But I wouldn't really want to go too much below that. Even if it was to go all the way down to $4, I personally wouldn't want to risk that. I don't try to catch the bottom. I just try to catch around it. I find a lot more success in that. And I know that might sound dumb. It's like, why wouldn't you try to catch the bottom? Why wouldn't you want to be in first place? Try to be the best that you can be. Be the best that you can be. Try and be in first place in all aspects. But with charts, I promise you, if you change your mentality to trying to catch the top and trying to catch the bottom and just trying to catch it around, it's a lot less stressful. And the less stress you have, the less emotions you have, the better off you are anyways. And just in my genuine personal experience, I've found a lot more success with that frame of mind. It's like a frame of mind, man. And that's all charts are. That's all it is. It's all psychology. So do the thing that will cause you less psychological chaos, dissonance, if that's the right word. But lower, probably below $6.20. That's my expectation. And with that expectation, if I was to buy, I would probably buy as high as $6.30. But I'm very confident that it will go below this green line, below that green line there, which is actually at $6.30. So very confident that it will. I guess it's a little bit lower. It's at like $6.22. Yeah, I thought it was. And as the weeks go on, it'll probably go lower. It's postured to the downside. But all that to say, guys, this is more of like a philosophy than TA today, because the TA hasn't changed, right? It's the weekend. I've talked about LTCN and BCHG since the weekend. If you want new technical analysis, it would just be the same stuff, because nothing new's happened over the past 2 days because it's the weekend. So, but yeah, if you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe to see more. It's 11:11 where I'm at in the world, so make a wish. This moment in time is frozen just for you to make a wish. I wish that everybody who buys at these prices or lower kills it in this cycle. I hope you all make phenomenal money. And I'll leave you with this quote. I love this quote. I'll leave you with it. Anybody can make profits, but only the pros take profits. Be like a pro, and when the time comes, in a year from now or later, or earlier, take profits. And don't be upset with them. It can continue growing. Just take solace in knowing that it'll come back down. It will. Anybody can make profits. Only the pros take profits. So be like a pro. Take care. Bye-bye.